Hello, welcome to Probable Magic and our 27th episode special. Yes, it was supposed to be a 25th episode special, but I wasn't able to put this together for that time, and I wasn't going to skip drafting just to wait to reserve an episode number. So we have a 27th episode special, and for this we are returning after a brief hiatus to Modonomics Part 11. Be talking about drafting by expected prize value. Expected prize value is what we expect to win out of, in this case, a draft, but later on we'll probably look at some other formats where we can win things as well. If you have read, listened, watched, explored on your own drafting economics for Magic Online in any way, this is most likely the topic you encountered. The author or presenter probably only called it expected value because it was probably the only kind of expected value they were interested in, i.e. they didn't care about expected card value or expected fund value, so there was no reason to differentiate expected prize value from any other kind of value, and it could just be expected value. Also, very likely that they looked at it in terms of PAX won, i.e. you could call it an expected pack value, and instead of expressing it in dollars, express it in number of packs. I don't like to do that for a couple reasons. One, I want to apply this method to formats where you might not win packs, like a phantom event or a cube event, where your prize might be in some form of tickets. Also, not all packs are worth the same. If you're playing a format like M14, where all three packs are the same, then yes, they are all worth the same, and you could do it on that basis. But if you're playing a format like Full Block Return to Ravnica, which I've played quite a bit of lately, then each of those packs has a different value. So in Modonomics, I like to put everything on the basis of dollars. Okay, expected prize value is what we would expect to win from some form of a tournament, and just like expected card value, it is averaged out, i.e. if we played the same format many times, this is what we would expect the average value over all of those tournaments to go to. The classic example that gets invoked all of the time is the $1 coin flip. I am going to be doing some of these things in a little higher level of detail than I have in previous Modonomics episodes, a little more like the probability of draw episode series, because this is worth understanding, and worth understanding well, and when we get to the end, be presenting some things that are probably not intuitive if you don't understand it well. So, like expected card value, we can look at this as the possible outcomes, which in a coin flip for a fair coin is win or lose. I guess I assumed everyone knows the $1 coin flip example. The idea behind that is that you pay $1, you flip a coin. If you win, you get $2. If you lose, you get nothing. So we pay our $1, we flip a coin, we will either win or lose. It's a fair coin, so the odds of winning and losing are each 50%. If we win, we get $2. If we lose, we get 0. Just like we did for expected card value, we can then multiply these out, add them up for all of the possibilities, and and that is our expected value from the $1 coin flip. It's a little dark. That's better. Pay $1, our expected value over many coin flips is just to break even. Okay, that's a very simple example that you probably have already seen, probably could have done in your head, so it doesn't really illustrate the power of being able to do this, which I want to illustrate before we move on to applying this specifically to magic. So let's make up a new example. I haven't done the math on this, so I don't know where it falls out. But in this example, I'm going to call the $50 dice roll. So here, I'm just making this up. You pay $50. Roll 2 6-sided dice, 2d6, and when you roll 2d6 in that way, you're taking the two rolled numbers and adding them together for a total, and you get the value of the two dice together squared. So this one's a lot harder because it's non-linear. It's non-linear in the odds of what the dice roll will be, and it's non-linear in the payout. So it's a lot harder to just do this in our head like the $1 coin flip and say, well, yeah, of course it's going to be $1 with the 50-50. So we pay $50, we roll 2 6-sided dice, fair dice, and we take the total number rolled between the two dice, and we squared it. That's what we get. So before we do the math, let's just think about it a moment. What are our expectations? So we know the range of rolls we could get is from 2 to 12. 2 squared is $4. 12 squared is $144. So that is the range of what we could win. We also know that on a roll of 2 6-sided dice, the number most likely to come up, the mode, is 7. 7 squared is $49, which is almost breaking even with our $50. It's $1 short. So it sounds like on this game we would be slightly below breaking even, because that $49 that's most likely to come up is $1 short of breaking even. However, we've got that high top end, so that could change it. We also know that because of the two dice together, the numbers, the average dice roll number, will be more congregated towards the middle of the pack, towards 7, and that the big loss of $4 and the big win of that $144 is less likely to happen. So let's take our same approach here and do the math on it. We have dice rolls of 2 through 12. Now we need to figure out our odds. Now I know from knowing dice that there's only one combination that you can roll a 2. You have to roll 2 1s. There's 2 ways to roll a 3, 3 ways to roll a 4, 4 ways to roll a 5, and 6 ways to roll a 7, and then we basically count back down. If we add those all up, we should come up with 36 different ways, and we do. And then for the probabilities, we can divide each one of those by 36, make it a percent, and that should equal up to 100%. And and it does. So those are our probabilities of coming up with each dice roll. Most likely being 7, as I said, and then going out from there. Now for our winnings, we're going to take the dice roll and square it. And now we can multiply the probability by winning. And we sum that all up, and we see that our just off the top prediction was not correct. The expected prize value from playing this $50 dice roll game over and over many times average out to 54.83. So we would expect to actually come up ahead. I'm not aware of this game ever existing because I just kind of made it up for the purpose of this example to have some non-linearity. But if you ever find someone offering this game, then if you have the capital to pay out $50 a number of times, this looks like a good game to play that you should be coming out ahead, which is probably why it most likely doesn't exist. Okay, so that was methodology behind calculating expected prize values, just in general. Now let's talk about drafting Magic. To apply this to Magic, we need to know our expected win percentage for a match. For a moment, we'll just call it 50%. We will revisit that later. In a draft, a person draft, we are going to play 3 rounds. Let's look at Swiss first. So in Swiss, we play our 3 rounds, and each round we can either win or lose, and regardless of the outcome, we can go on to the next round and play again. So there's actually 8 different possibilities, potential outcomes from this. We can win, 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 then lose, win, lose, win, win, lose, 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 win, win, lose, win, lose, 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 win, and lose, lose, lose. Now, let's see, we'll base this on M14, which when I was playing last night, M14 packs were 316. So we're going to call an M14 pack worth $3.16. If we let's go to the probabilities. We said our expected win percentage is 50%, and we have to play 3 games. So that's 3 games matches at 50% each. We take those probabilities and we multiply them by each other. That's our expected win percentage, and then for convenience I will call it expected loss percentage. which is, you get out of here. 1 minus expected win percentage, also 50% in this case. So, expected win percentage, win times win times win. Or win times lose, win times lose times win, win, lose, 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 win, win, lose, win, lose, 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 win, and lose, lose, lose. You may notice that because we said there's 50-50 chance, all of these are equal probability of happening. If we looked at something more interesting, like we said, we've got a 2/3 chance of winning and a 1/3 chance of losing a match, then these are not all the same. But, oops, not typing well today. We know when we sum all these up, we should be getting 100%, regardless of what value we put here. Now, for the payout, if we do this, this is for M14, we get 3 of these. This is for a Swiss draft, so we get a number of packs equal to the number of wins. Here we get 2. Here we'd also get 2. This is 1, 2, and triple lose is worth 0. Then again, we just multiply these together. Sum all of those up. And our expected win percentage and our expected prize value in an M14 draft based on a $3.16 pack worth at a 50% expected win percentage per match is 474. So, what if we're looking at one of the other formats, a single elimination format, where if we don't win, we're eliminated from the tournament? I'll call this Swiss. So here we have fewer possible outcomes because some outcomes can happen to multiple people. So the goal, of course, is to go win-win-win. Or we can still go win-win-lose. We can win the first round and lose the second round, and then we're out. Or we can just lose the first round. So there's only 4 possible outcomes from the single elimination tournament, but more than one person will fall into some of these outcomes, whereas in the Swiss there's 8 different outcomes if you're caring about the order of games, and one person of each of the 8 in the 8-man Swiss will get one of these. So again, here 3 wins, we need win times win times win. This is win times loss. This is win times loss and just outright loss. We don't need to make any special effort to account for the fact that 4 people are going to be in this category. That is taken care of in accounting for us by this 50% number. So we can sum these up again. 100%. Now we can, for convenience, apply this to both single elimination formats, both 8-4 and 4-3-2-2. So let's look at the prize payouts from 8-4. If we go win-win-win, we get 8 packs. If we go win-win-lose, we get 4 packs. Win-lose, we get 0. Lose, we get 0. Multiply these together. If we're playing 4-3-2-2, if we win, we get 4 packs. If we lose, if we get second place, win-win-lose, we get 3 packs. Here now we're in 8-4, we got nothing for winning round 1 then losing. Here we would get 2 packs, and here we still get 0. And again, we just multiply. Now make sure we're multiplying the percentage times our winnings. So if we have a 50-50 chance of winning, expected win percentage of 50%, our expected prize value from Swiss and an 8-4 is the same, and 4-3-2-2 is lower. If we're much better, let's say 75%, now we get the best payout expected prize value from the 8-4 over the Swiss. 4-3-2-2 still not as good as 8-4. In this case, a little bit better than the Swiss. If we're not so good, we say 25%. Now we see still Swiss is the best, 8-4 not so good, 4-3-2-2 in the middle. From this, you've probably seen the graph that says, and most likely what you've taken away from any previous encounters with expected prize value is if your win percentage is above 50%, play 8-4. If your win percentage is below 50%, play Swiss. Never ever 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 play 4-3-2-2 because it only pays out 11 packs instead of 12 packs total among all the players, because Wizard hates us, and never play it because it's bad. It's probably what you've taken away from that. And I think it's probably worth us making that graph. But I'm not going to do that in real time. I'm going to pause the video and go ahead and throw together that graph real quick so we can talk about it. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I probably should have thought to put this together in advance, but I didn't. But I thought it was worth talking about. So this is the graph, the infamous graph. You've probably seen it before. That has on the x-axis our expected win percentage by match. On the y-axis, our expected prize value. As mentioned previously, I'm doing this in terms of dollars. This is for M14 based on $3.16 pack value of what I could have bought them for last night. You've probably seen it on the terms of packs for M14, since this is a format where we're playing 3 of the same pack. It kind of doesn't matter, but I like to do things on dollars. So in our infamous chart here, we can see in blue line the Swiss, very linear, with our expected win percentage is the highest expected prize value up until 50%. At 50%, if our expected win percentage is above 50%, the green line, which is 8-4, becomes the highest expected prize value, and rather significantly towards the higher end. And for 322, because it pays out only 11 packs instead of 12 packs, is never the highest line. In fact, for the vast majority of the region, except for a little bit right in the middle, it tends to be between the two, which is why you'll hear people say never ever ever play 4-3-2-2. The other thing that we will often hear people say is that Wizards should make 4-3-2-2 a 5-3-2-2, so that it will pay out 12 packs instead of 11. So let's look at that. I set that up. Did I change it to 5? I did. Let's add that to our graph. Add, here's name 5322. Okay, so there in purple now is 5322. Now, I should say for the record that I'm completely in favor of changing 4322 to 5322 so that all 3 formats pay out the 12 packs. That said, that doesn't change the rule of thumb, the constant mantra chanted at us, that play Swiss if you're below 50% expected win percentage, play 8-4 if you are above. That does change the midpoint there at 50%. Now all 3 of those, Swiss, 8-4, and 5-3-2-2, intersect. But other than that, even a 5-3-2-2 will never be the highest, except where it's tied at that middle point on of any of the formats for any expected win percentage. So while yes, it would be a great thing to make that change, also kind of doesn't change anything on the analysis. So let's look at some actual data that I have from the M14 drafts that I've played. Here's my M14 draft data. All of these except the first one were recorded and as part of the Probable Magic series. I should really change these numbers to avoid confusion. Those would be the video numbers. I'll just call that one A, I guess, because that wasn't recorded. And maybe I'll call it not recorded. And then these correspond to the video numbers of the other ones that are posted. I like to look at specific to a format because I think just because you have a good expected win percentage, or we're kind of talking about actual results now, you have a good actual win percentage in one format, does not necessarily translate into other formats. I think many people, including myself, felt this effect from gate crash, triple gate crash, which I thought I did pretty well, into full block return to Ravnica, where I saw a big drop off in my win percentage, and I think many people at all levels did as well. In that full block return to Ravnica is not directly translatable into triple M14. So when I'm looking at this, I like to look at specific to a format. Okay, so here my drafts, the rounds. If I won the round, there's a 1. If I lost, there's a 0. All 10 of these were played as Swiss drafts, so I can just count up the total number of ones. 10 rounds times 3, 30 matches. My actual win percentage was 47%. Right? So that means that my highest expected prize value would be from playing Swiss, which is what I have been playing, but makes me feel like I'm getting close to that point of breaking into 8-4, which is kind of cool. So let's play a little what if. You have to be careful with this, because if you start cherry picking your data, it's kind of meaningless. But you can use this for looking at if you'd been playing a specific format all along, or at least since a certain point. So let's look at Swiss, which is what we have been playing, and let's look at number of packs won. And we can, well, we have that 316 value. So this game I won one round. For convenience, I will actually just do this on packs because they're all the same and we can multiply them out later. I won 1 pack there, 2 packs there, 0, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. It should be 14. So playing Swiss for these 10 drafts, I won 14 packs. What if I had been playing 8-4? Let's see, I would have won nothing there, nothing there, nothing. I would have won 8 there. Nothing. This would have won 4. Nothing. Only 12. So we see this matches our expectations exactly, that we're at 47%, which is less than 50, and we've got our rule of thumb that if we're expected win percentage below 50%, we should be playing Swiss for best value. If we were above, we should be playing 8-4. We're below, we've been playing Swiss. That was our best value, 14/12. Now we know that we should never ever ever play 4-3-2-2 because it's bad and horrible and only pays 11 packs. But just for kicks, let's look at what if we'd been doing that. Well, here we would have won 2. Here we would have won 2. That's 0, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2, 0, and 0. Well, that's not the result that we were expecting. That says for these 10 matches, if I had been playing 4-3-2-2 all along, I actually would have come out with higher prizes than playing Swiss or 8-4. That doesn't match our chart at all. So what's going on here? And again, just circle back. You got to be careful with this what if exercise. Resist the temptation to say, well, I should have played this one 8-4. I should have played this one 8-4. I should have played this one Swiss. You don't have the foresight to do that. But you can use this exercise in this way to say, well, what if going back to this time I had switched to this format and played all of my drafts since then, and in this case I'm going back to the beginning, as 8-4 or as 4-3-2-2. What would have happened then? And in this case we get a very unexpected result. We see that our highest winnings would have come from 4-3-2-2. So what's going on with that? Well, in this analysis we did, and that you've probably seen from many other people, there is a very large assumption that I have never heard discussed or recognized. So there's this huge unspoken assumption, and if you buy into that assumption, then all this math that we just did completely valid, and the rule of thumb, play Swiss under 50% win percentage, play 8-4 over 50% win percentage, completely valid. If that assumption does not hold true for you, then this is pretty sketchy and out the window. What is that assumption? That assumption is that we can characterize this by a single win percentage. That our expected win percentage in round 1 is equal to our expected win percentage in round 2, which is equal to our expected win percentage in round 3. Is that a good assumption? That's difficult to say. It's going to vary by individual. So the better question is that a good assumption for me? So in round 1, I won 7 matches out of 10. In round 2, I won 4, and in round 3, I won 3. Now, let's take the time to recognize that this is on 10 drafts, which is not a huge data set. So the difference between round 2 and 3 here, 30% versus 40%, that's just one draft. That's kind of the same number for our purposes here. So we shouldn't jump up and down and say, oh, the our expected win percentage between round 2 and round 3 is way different, and this assumption is no good. I'm willing to accept for this purpose that these are within margin of error, but the difference between round 1 and round 2 here, that's pretty significant. 70% versus either 40 or 30. And this high number in the first round is going to say push us in the direction of accepting more risk, of going to a single elimination format like 8-4 or 4-3-2-2 instead of the Swiss. Whereas these lower numbers in the later rounds are going to push us in the direction of saying take on less risk. Don't play a 4-3-2-2. I mean, don't play an 8-4 or 4-3-2-2. So with those coming at you from both directions, saying take on more risk, take on less risk, pushes us towards the middle, which the middle line was our 4-3-2-2. 5-3-2-2 sadly not really existing. The other thing, though, that we should recognize is that these numbers are valid for Swiss. If we start taking them and trying to apply them to single elimination formats, they're not entirely directly translatable, because some of these games that we won or lost would not have happened in a single elimination tournament. If we lost round 1, some of these games would not have happened. So let's look at that. And what we should do, I'm just going to copy this. Round 1 is unchanged. All of that would have happened. Round 2, we only get to play if we won in round 1. So what I can do there, I'm going to take my round 2 result and multiply it by round 1. Since I used ones or zeros, what that does is if I won in round 1, then it multiplies my round 2 result times 1. It will be the same. If I lost in round 1 and I got a 0, it will multiply my round 2 result by 0 and 0 it out. And I can do the same thing for round 2. So now, in a single elimination format, I would have won 7 games in round 1, 2 games in round 2, and 1 game in round 3. And we need to account for the number of matches now. Of course, in round 1, we played 10. In round 2, we only got to play matches where we won in round 1. So that's 7. Round 3, we only got to play 1. We got to play 2 matches in round 3 because we won 2 rounds in round 2. So in a Swiss format, again, this data then is specific to individual. These are just my numbers. Your numbers will vary. But in a Swiss format, I could look at saying, based on my past performance in M14, I've got a round 1 win percentage of 70%, 40% in round 2, and 30% in round 3. In a single elimination format, whether it's 8-4 or 4-3-2-2, I still have a 70% in round 1, but I've done 29% in round 2, and if I make it to round 3, I've had a 50% win percentage in round 3. So let's revisit this with my actual data. I'm just gonna So this was for Swiss, but now we have this expected win percentage by round and expected loss percentage. So now these are specific to the rounds, and I could say win times win times win, win times win times loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, 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 win, win, lost, win, lost, loss, loss, win, loss, loss, loss. Let's just clean up some of those zeros. We get 100%, exactly as we expected. These won't change. Just going to go ahead and copy those numbers in, paste special values. So based on my actual data, I would say I've got an expected prize value in an M14 Swiss of 442 if I'm differentiating by round. If I'm not, before I said it was 237. Let's do the same. Oops, where are we? Single elimination. To get rid of this. Yes. Okay, win, oops, let's do the same thing here. Expected win percentage, expected loss percentage, 1 minus, win, 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 loss, win, loss, loss. Add those up. 100%. That's just a good little error check. If is equal to anything else, we should be concerned and check for errors. Multiply those out. Multiply those out. And we see that my expected win percentage for a M14 draft, based on my past performance the last 10 drafts, for an 8-4 would be 3.79, less than Swiss, but the highest would be 4.322, even though it pays out a pack less in the total. I personally have better chance of getting more packs than I would in another format. Why? Because my expected win percentage in round 1 has been pretty good. I make it on to round 2 70% of the time, at least so far. So 70% of the time I've gone on to round 2. In a Swiss, that earns me 1 pack off the bat. In a 4.322, that earns me 2 packs off the bat. In an 8-4, that by itself doesn't get me anything. Whereas I see in round 2, in a Swiss format, I've won 40% of the time, because that includes some games where I lost round 1 and then was still able to win round 2. If I adjust my expectations for what would have happened if it was single elimination, and say any of those drafts that I lost round 1, see there's that draft video number 2 where that was just a dismal one. I bombed out completely. And then my last 2 experiences in M14, where I lost the first round, but then was able to make some comeback in the second and third rounds, and still pick up some packs because it was Swiss in a single elimination format. Those rounds just wouldn't have happened. So when I adjust for that, in a single elimination format, I've only got a 29% win percentage of going on to the next round. Well, in a 4.322, I would then just take my 2 packs and be pretty happy with that. In an 8-4, that would mean I get nothing. Then I've only made it to the 3rd round on this corrected for single elimination basis twice. I won one of them and lost the other. So there we have it. Me personally, my best expected win percentage, if I play my best expected prize value, if I were to play another M14 draft, would be in 4.322, because I have good chances of winning the first round, but have not historically done so well on making it all the way to the end. So there you have it. We have challenged the great mantra of never play 4.322. Say there are times when it makes sense. We didn't even go to the whole argument on if that's the only option available to you. It's the only option available to you. And that wasn't part of our discussion at all. This is for M14, where all 3 options exist. We see that for specific individuals, like at the moment myself, if you challenge the great unspoken assumption that a single as the expected win percentage value carries through between each round for you. 4322 can sometimes give you the best expected value, even though for the table as a whole there's a pack less. And I'm playing online. I don't know any of the people sitting around the table of me. I'm not particularly bothered that we as a group get a pack less. Sure, I'd love it to be a 5-3-2-2, but that said, I'm interested in me personally getting the best value, which looks like it may be 4-3-2-2, at least at the moment in M14. Would love to hear your comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that I would have gotten a better value in 8-4. Love to hear what you think. This has been Probable Magic, and I'll see you next time.